Hello friends, we are doing something very exciting today, and that is we are batching blogs. But we're not just batching blogs for like a month or 2 months like I normally do. This time we're gonna try to do the whole year. And this is very different. I've actually never written a blog during the summer. That's not true. I wrote one last year because I just had an inspiration. But normally I do not write blogs in the summer, because normally by the time I get to summer, I'm like, I don't want to think about school. I don't want to do anything that has to do with school. Like, I don't want to think about anything. And so this year, however, I just came off like a very good teaching year, but also a very exhausting and stressful year of trying to maintain what I want to do in my business and teaching, and it was just a lot. And so I am looking at next year and trying to prepare for next year. And I was trying to think of like, what can I do that's going to make, you know, next year easier. And so I was like, okay, let's try batching all the blogs over the summer. That way I don't have to worry about them at all during the school year, and that will just be one less thing to think of over the school year. So that's my plan. Today's the first little blip of it. So the first thing we need to do is make the content calendar. Content calendars are like, would you just come inside? I'm sorry. Look at this dog. What are you doing? Just come in. You can do it. Come on. See, was that so hard? She has like a thing about going from hard ground to carpet or vice versa. So I'm sorry, I was talking and all I could hear was like click, 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 as she sat there forever. I'm not laughing at you. I love you. Anyway, the first thing we need to do is content calendars. Content calendars are game changers, because the literal worst thing you can do is, and I tell you this all the time, the worst thing you could ever do is sit down at your computer and then say, what should I write about? No, 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 friends. No, no, no. If you are blogging, if you are doing videos, if you're doing Instagram reels, if you're doing product creation, no matter what you're doing, you need to have a plan going in, because that is when you come up with the thing called writer's block, which is when you just sit there and stare at the screen and accomplish nothing. We don't want that. So you need to have a content calendar, or at least a list to pick from. Like, at the very least, have a list of things. But better would be a content calendar. So that's what we're gonna start with. For my content calendar, I have a very fancy way of doing this. In my bullet journal, where I like to keep things so that I can refer back to them and know where they are. Are you ready? Are you ready? I literally write out the dates that I'm gonna post a blog, and then I write what I'm gonna do next to it. It is not fancy. If you don't have a bullet journal, you can do that on a piece of paper. Now, fancier people do this on like Google Calendar or, you know, like Trello, but your girl likes paper and pencil. I do also, because I have a lot going on, I also have a content calendar that looks like this, and this is just a desk calendar with the mini sticky notes. I will link them down below. They're just on Amazon. This is just from Home Goods, and I got it because it matched my office, because it's like marble and navy and gold, and I was like, you literally, like, if I had made it, it would not have been more perfect than this. And this looks like a lot, so don't stress. You don't need all this. But what I do here is I put them on sticky notes, and the reason it looks like a lot is because I do blogs and YouTube on here, and I have multiple YouTube channels, so don't stress. But I will put the blog posts on sticky notes and put them on the Thursdays. I actually started doing them on Wednesdays instead. But just having them on there, and so that I can see when they're done. I currently am doing a blog post every other week. I was doing one every week for a long time, but I've been doing every other week so that I could have more chances to promote stuff that I've already written, since I now have a lot of blogs. So also it just makes it so that there's not quite as many things to do, which is handy. And then if I'm batching really far ahead of time, one thing I have found helpful is that if I then want to add something, I then have that like, you know, week in the middle where I can add a blog if I would like to. So that's been handy too. So all of that to say, a couple of different ways to do your content calendar. Once you decide on what you're gonna do, which don't stress about that step, just like pick something and go, then you're going to need to decide what you're gonna do. So I like to keep a running list of ideas that I get, suggestions that people give me, things that pop up, you know, all of those things, and I'll just write them in my phone and then I transfer them again to my bullet journal. I have like a list that's just like pages, or I have a page that's just lists of content ideas, and so I just write it in there so that I have it again, so that I know where it's going to be. And then typically when I am going to batch, then I will actually sit down and have a bigger list. If you're looking for like where to come up with ideas, I think I have a video all about that, so I'll link that down below. But a couple of things: one, having that running list is like game changer. Two, ask your audience. So I did that a few months ago. I actually did a giveaway where I asked, like, all people had to do was tell me what they wanted to see from me, and it was so helpful because it gave me so many ideas, and it's ideas that people actually want to read because they're telling me they want to read them. So that was really handy. And so I have that list that I made then, and then I also will go through some of my products and see like what needs more explanation. So for example, I talk all the time about my game called Kaboom. I use it all the time. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I don't have a blog post about it, and so every time I talk about it, I would love to be able to link it to a blog post, but I don't have that. So like that's something I want to do. And like those things that you commonly talk about, like you should have a video or a blog post or whatever about those things that you commonly talk about, because like recently I've talked a lot about Write the Room, and I've had people ask me like, how do you play this? And like the best I have is like to send them an Instagram reel. So that's on my list too. So I look at all these things. I also brain dump all of my ideas, which I already did. And then my next step is gonna be to go through my lists and put them into the content calendar. Now, this step can be really like overwhelming. Don't think about it too hard. My best suggestion is to start with things that have a timeline. So for example, I have like one that I wanted to do that's like Halloween. So that should be around Halloween. Actually, if you're looking for SEO, you should do it about 3 months before Halloween, but I prefer to do mine in real time because I send it to people in real time. So like I'll send it to my email list when it's timely, and then basically my idea is to have it ranking by the next Halloween. So that's my personal opinion, but if you want to actually like do better, post it way before. So I know that if I'm going to do a Halloween thing, it's going to need to be like in October. So I'll start with those things that have specific timelines. Okay. After that, the next thing I want to think about is anything that I'm launching. So if you are launching something, that's going to be like a course or like a product, usually a bigger product, not like a little product, then you're gonna wanna also have a content piece that goes along with that launch. And so I will do that, or having content leading up to that. So I know I'm going to be doing a course in the fall, and so I kind of know when I want to launch that, and I'm kind of gonna work backwards and fill in like the things that we need to talk about before we get to launch, so that you are convinced that you need my course by the time it is available. Okay, makes sense. So then after that, I'll just go through and fill in everything else in wherever, because a lot of the time it doesn't matter when your pieces go out, and it's just more important to like make a plan. So that is what I'm gonna do right this second, and then I need to get started on writing, but I need to check what time it is. I also need to eat lunch. I haven't figured out a good like summer schedule yet, so we're just doing whatever we feel like, and Tali is here for it. You wagging your tail? Do you like it when Mama stays home all day? Do you think Mama should quit her job and stay home all day? I keep telling Andrew that. I'm like, Tali would really like it if I stayed home all day. And he's like, yeah, okay. That's not actually happening, just in case you were wondering. But let's get to work. All right, so my tentative plan for now until next summer is done. It might change, but that's where we are. One thing that I like to do is I use a regular black pen for the dates. So this one's actually like an artist Pitt pen because it was the first thing I found. And then I use these friction pens for the ideas because they are erasable. So that way, if I change things, because I have already changed a few things, I can just erase the blue part. So let me show you. I can just erase that, but it doesn't erase the date, although apparently it smudges it a little bit. So that has been really helpful as I change things up to make sure that I do not, like, you know, destroy the whole thing. So that is where we are, and I'm gonna get started. Now, I will mention a couple of the things on my list did not make it here because you have to, you know, pick and choose because there's just frankly not enough days, which is like the biggest problem. I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, if there was a way that I could just not sleep, do you know how much I would get done? Like, I lose so much time in sleeping, but if I don't sleep, then I'm really tired and then I don't do anything. So anyway, there's never enough days, there's never enough time, so you have to pick and choose. The things that I did not pick, I'm gonna make sure I put onto my list of ideas in here. And so I'll just stick it right in here. And then at the end of the year, when I go to my new bullet journal, I always look through this and I'll transfer anything I haven't done into the new one to make sure that those ideas are not lost. All right, so here's what my little outline is gonna look like. And that is the beginning of this. And then I'm just gonna type in what I wanna say for this one. And then we have a blog post, easy peasy. All right, so I finished up with my content calendar and figured out, you know, what I want to do. Next up is actual writing. So my master plan is to write 2 or 3 blog posts a day, which is a lot and something I would not attempt with school. But since I'm out of school, I have more time. I have more brain space. I'm hoping I can make that happen. 2, depending on which 2 they are, like, should be fine. 3 is gonna be pushing it, but we shall see how that goes. And I always just write mine into a Google Doc, which I do actually because there was a glitch in my website and I lost like 4 finished blog posts that were in draft mode. And since then I have been writing them in Google Docs so that I will not lose my words. Even if something happens to the blog post, I can remake it. So that is that. And I just do, let's see, I'll show you. So the topic, or what's gonna be the name, this is not gonna be the name, we're gonna add more to that, is gonna be in a like heading. That way over on the side you can see what it is, and I'll have all of the blog posts here. Sometimes I like to have an outline, sometimes I don't feel like I need them, so that's just kind of like depends on what we're gonna do. And if I want an outline, I just outline it right in here in the Google Docs, and then I use that outline as kind of like starting point and like different sections. So then I'll just write underneath, you know, what these are gonna be. So I am gonna do some typing, see if I can get at least these 2 done in 30 minutes. Let's see. All right, first 2 blogs are done. I ended up writing 5 full pages plus an extra little thing. Which is quite a lot. Actually, I didn't think they were going to be quite that long, but I felt like it just had so much to say. And that took me about 45-ish minutes. So, you know, 20-ish for each one. I do find that I get a little bit faster as I batch them because these are the first 2, so they take a little bit longer, but we shall see how that goes. I'm going to leave it there and I'm going to go find some lunch. To help me keep sorted with all of these blog posts happening, you can see this little line, those were ones I had already finished. I do 1 check mark when something is written, and then I do a 2nd check mark once it is all the way scheduled. So once it has the graphics and all of the things. So my plan is to, you know, check, and then go through and get them ready, and then they'll have double check marks and I will know that they're done. All right, we are making progress. So I just wrote this one. Started here, so it's like 2 pages, and I wrote this one. I wonder if I could use that. 1, 2, like a little over 2. So not too terrible. The first one did take quite a bit of time just because it was a little bit longer in nature, but I cheated and I did really short ones yesterday because I really wanted to get to the pool. I have been doing this in the morning. So this week, Monday and Tuesday, both, I got up, I did my workout, had my breakfast, and did some reading. So like working on my morning routine, which I'll have a whole video about my morning routine coming soon. Sorry, I don't know what to do with my hair. And then I did the blogs, and then I went to the pool and then came back and did like the rest of my work. Today, since I had that summer camp, I did not get to type them in the morning. I mean, I guess I could have, but then I would have had to get up earlier, so that didn't happen. So that's why I'm doing them now at like 6 o'clock in the evening. But the main thing has been what they're doing in the morning or doing in the afternoon, it just has to get done. And that's been my biggest thing. It's like, you know, if you want to spend the whole morning at the pool, that's fine. You just got to get the things done when you come back. And that's kind of like where I have landed. So doing pretty well. I've done 2 a day every single day. So I still have, I think, 6 or 8 more. I'll have to look at it. So we'll just check those off on my little thing. All right, bloggers, couple of things. So I've already told you how I write my blogs in Google Docs. That way I have a backup. 1. 2 is just a little bit easier, I think, because then you can get all your stuff done and you're not like distracted by all of the like formatting issues. So I just type. I do, for the title, make that a heading so that down here on the side you can see like, look at all these blog posts I've written in like 2 weeks. Like, y'all, I'm impressed with myself. But what I wanted to mention on here, also that makes it really easy if you want to like copy and paste things, like come download my freebie because you're all in the same document. Anyway, what I was going to tell you is at the top, I've been doing this little to-do section with things that I need to remember to finish or make. So for example, this is a game that I would like to create. So these things need to get created before a blog post can go out. So ideally, I would love to finish them before I schedule them out, which will be this week. But if that doesn't happen, then what I'll do is just that blog post will not be officially scheduled yet until the product is finished so I can put it up there. So far, I don't have that many right here that need to get done because I really tried. In the past, I have written a lot of blog posts that included products that I did not finish yet, and that was really stressful. So I really try to make it so that pretty much everything on here is already done, but it doesn't always work because I am going so far ahead. So these are a couple of things I need to finish, and so hopefully I will be able to finish those before I post the product of the blog post. And in doing that, then those will just be ready. So this one might not be done, but that one's not going out till like April. But the other 3, I feel like should be a little easier. We shall see. Alright, I'm feeling very accomplished. Just finished the last blog post. The dishwasher is super loud, so I do apologize. Technically, it was 1 blog post, so I've been writing 2 every day, but I wrote 1, and then 1 I did as an update to an older one. And I just put that on the schedule to make sure that I would actually get it done. And so next year I'll just like post a video and then I can share that same blog post. But it needed some love because it was one of the beginning ones. So those are all officially written except for the 2 that need to be more in the moment. And so I will start with like graphics and stuff like that tomorrow. All right, friends, so this is where batching gets really good. So last week I got all my graphics done, which was super helpful to be, you know, again, to be batching because I just have all of the different templates up that I need, and I just make all of the different ones. And so you can see now I have like all of these and they all match. And that's really easy to do when you have them all together, because you can pretty much just go through and like change out the text, change out the photos, and then be on your merry way. Today's project, I am getting started with posting the blog, so making sure that they have the graphics in them, editing, revising, all that kind of stuff, adding in photos, adding in videos, adding in links. And this is really, really helpful when it comes to the batching process, because all of these things, and you end up with like 17,000 links up, like tabs up. And if you're batching, you can keep those tabs up and you don't have to go and re-find all the ones, because I need like teachers pay. I usually need 2 teachers pay teachers up, and I need my photos, and I need Canva up, and I need, you know, this, that, and the other, and all of those things. So let's get started. And first one is ready to go. All right, I wanted to show you this little hack because I just told my mom about this the other day. She actually, I've mentioned before, she's taken my blogging course and she does blogging about taxes because that's what her business is. And so I told her this and she was like, oh, that's such a good idea. I have, like I mentioned, Google Docs where I write my blog posts, but I also have a Google Doc that's literally called Free Resource Library, and it's just this little like paragraph where I advertise my free resource library. And then I have other ones. So like my new music teacher course is right here. And it's just kind of like my little spiel about like, hey, you should come join my course. And then I just added this one, which is my centers one. That's like my new freebie that I'm really trying to push at the moment. And then I add the links to them underneath. So literally all I have to do is copy and paste that into each of my blog posts and I'm ready to go. And then I don't have to rewrite the exact same thing over and over and over. I don't have to go searching for my links. They're like right there and ready to go. Also, as far as links go, I have a like Google Sheet with all of my opt-ins. So you can see like here's my opt-ins down here at the bottom. And so it's just like my centers opt-in, here's the link to it. That way I don't have to go searching for them all the time and I can just like find them very easily. And yeah, anything that you use often, if it's something you write often, make a Google Doc with it so you can copy and paste. If there's something more like a sheet that you need, like just do whatever you need to do to make it easier on yourself. All right, so we just spent like a good hour and a half working on getting some of these blog posts up, and I only got 5 done, which is a lot less than I was hoping for. Part of that is I have some posts that require a lot more photos, a lot more links, that kind of stuff, and so I had 2 that had like lots of photos, lots of stuff to do, and then I had a couple that were significantly easier. So 5 are down. I'm gonna go take a break and I will come back to this later. I'm not done batching all of them yet and getting them all started, but look how beautiful that is with just all of these videos or blog posts ready to go. When it comes to photos, once you have been doing this for a while, you will have so many photos, it will not even be funny. So to help with that, if you're looking for something specific, one, of course, you can add them to albums. But what I like to do is I use Google Photos. It's an app on your phone, and then also you can get it on just it's your Google account. So you can access them from any computer, which is super, super handy. And it will automatically upload your photos when your phone is plugged in, or if you open the app. And then I love this because you can search for things. So you can already see it's got like different words here. It also has different people that often come up in my photos. So like here's me and my husband. So like if and I'm not sure why this is a YouTuber. I think my phone sometimes like randomly takes screenshots. So I think that's what that's about. But like if I click on Hanukkah, then here's photos of me with a menorah. And even here, like there's a menorah right there, and it can tell. And then this is like Hanukkah time, so it's got that. And then here's like a product with Hanukkah. Here's some clip art. I need to delete those off of here. But my point is that if you need to find something, it can also range your photos. So I can type in I have, and it comes, I have a little dreidel. But what I'm looking for is these I have who has games, and so I need one of these photos to put onto my TBT store, and it'll read all of them. So like here it says I have on this product, but yeah, super, super handy. That's like the quickest way to find something. All right, friends, I just finished with the last few blogs, like way later than I started. I seem to have a problem. I'm really good at like writing the blogs, but when it comes to getting them ready to go, I kind of drag my feet. And I think it's more of like an in my head thing, because it's not that much work, but it's just like, I don't know. So that's something I need to work on next time, is like really getting to it. And this time in particular, I had a hard time with like not finishing, and I started like doing other projects and stuff like that that just kept making me distracted. So I'm trying to work on that, like finishing a task before I move on to new tasks. It's not my strong suit, but you know, all of us are working on things. But I have finished all of the blog posts through next year, so that's super exciting. Most of them are completely scheduled. There's a couple that I had like a few little things that I need to like post to TPT or something like that before I can post them, which I try not to have those, but I do have a couple that I knew I was gonna make anyway. So I need to get on making those maybe for the next week, so that way they're ready and done, because I don't want to be like stressing about those things or like not being able to post the blogs. So those I just left in draft mode, but everything else is scheduled, like graphics are done, everything is done, and we have all of these beautiful little things like, woo, you can't see those, so many blog posts. So that's super exciting. Now, when they do come out, I do go through and like do a final check typically, especially because I always do a YouTube video associated with the blog post and I put it on the blog. So that gives me like a really good reason to make sure that I can check through and make sure, so that way I can just double check that there are any links messed up or anything like that. So I typically check that while I'm like making emails and stuff, because I also usually send it in the email. So that way I'm still, you know, like checking in all throughout the year. But the hard part is over, so that's really exciting. And I'm glad I got all of that done. So it was definitely a lot. It took longer than I meant for it to, because like I said, I just kind of like got distracted and like didn't work on it for a couple weeks, and then would work on it for like a day and then didn't work on it for a couple weeks. But yeah, that'll be the process for next time, is just really making sure that I like get it all the way finished. But we're finished and done, and I'm so excited. Thank you for being here on this journey with me. So if you are wanting to do some blogging, I do have a blogging course, the Blogging for Profit for Teacherpreneurs course. It goes through like everything you need to know for like writing blogs, writing good blogs, SEO. We talk about how to make the graphics, how to actually start your blog if you don't have one. We talk about, most important is really like how to turn your readers into buyers and how to like drive traffic to your TBT store. So I'll link that down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.